Today, we're going to discuss tenancies, and here are the objectives. Number one, what is ownership in severalty? Number two, what are the different types of co-ownerships? Number three, what are some of the ways that businesses can hold ownership of the properties? Number four, what is a trust and what does it have to do with property ownership? What really are tenancies? Well, tenancies really are just methods that businesses or entities or individuals can hold real estate. And people who normally hold real estate are called tenants. There are several types of tenancies: ownership in severalty, joint tenancy, tenancy in common, community property, tenancy by entirety, dower and courtesy, and trust. Starting with tenancy in severalty or estate in severalty. What it means is ownership in entirety. What it means in real estate is that a person's interest in the property is severed from others, at least until death, and then the ownership is then passed to someone else through a will or to the person's heirs. The next type of tenancy is the concurrent ownership, and it includes some of the types of tenancies that I listed already. Tenancy in common, joint tenancy, community property, tenants in entirety, and tenants in partnership. In a concurrent ownership, there are always co-owners, and they either have the undivided interest in the property or equal rights in possession. In an undivided interest, each owner owns the entire place. They also have a unity of possession, which grants each owner an equal right to use any part of the property. But of course, all the owners must contribute equally to the cost, such as repairs, maintenance, property taxes, management fees. But then again, they also benefit from income from the property. Of course, they have to keep it fair, and if one co-owner pays more than another one, then he can take out a lien against that person. And if he is not fairly compensated, he can actually foreclose on that lien. Tenancy in common means that more than two people or two entities hold an undivided interest on the property. The interest is also passable by heir or by devisees. There's a concept called the right of survivorship, and what it means is that if one of the owner dies, the surviving members can purchase his or her interest. And this concept only applies to joint tenancy or tenancy in entirety. When a tenant in common dies, his or her interest is passed through a will or to his or her heirs. Tenancy in common can be quite flexible. They share the right of possession, but they can acquire their interest in different times. They can also do it in different ways, and their interests do not have to be completely equal. A tenant in common can also freely sell, lease, encumber his or her interest. And if someone wants to sell but they're unable to, maybe there's something holding them back, they can file what's called a partition suit, which would force a division of what's left of the property among the other tenants. We're actually going to stop here today because there's a lot to absorb. Next time, we're going to talk about joint tenancy, community property, tenancy by entirety, dower and courtesy, and wrap up with some key concepts. And we'll see you next time.